You are watching the LemonAid Podcast with Amar Law Group. Join us as we unlock the secrets and expert tips you need to know now.
Hello and welcome to the LemonAid Podcast with lemon law expert Shalev Amar. I'm your host, Jon Clemence, and today we're peeling back the layers of an important topic for anyone navigating the lemon law world. So first of all, Shalev, great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jon.
Absolutely. And so today we're talking about red flags, how to tell when a dealership is minimizing a serious defect problem. And I am really interested in this conversation. So Shalev, let's get started. We know that a lot of car buyers are told that certain issues with their vehicles are quote unquote normal by dealerships or manufacturers. So what are the most common problems you see that are that can be dismissed this way?
Well, unfortunately, it can be almost anything. But most often, I would say when there are noises in a vehicle, rattles, vibration, and in the context of electric vehicles, the mileage per charge, and sometimes even with regular vehicles, the gas mileage, those are oftentimes things that dealerships will try and categorize as normal. The other thing that comes to mind is the performance of HVAC systems, like the air conditioner heater. Oftentimes they'll say it's normal, even though it's not working properly.
Which is kind of funny to me because I feel like if I'm buying a new car and there's any problem, that's not normal, right? Like that's my expectation as a buyer. So given that, what are some signs that a dealership might be minimizing a real problem because they just want to avoid the responsibility or maybe a breach of a warranty claim?
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, it's just they're basically categorizing something as normal that is not normal. Or oftentimes they'll say operating within specs or within normal manufacturer tolerances or operating as designed or no problem found. That's the main verbiage they use. But it's just basically sometimes when they can't even correctly diagnose a problem, they'll call it normal. And it's unfortunate. As far as motivations, it's difficult to know, but there could be several. One could be, like I was alluding to earlier, they just don't know how to repair an issue. The other could be that a manufacturer up at corporate has just decided, well, we're not willing to spend money on repairing these particular issues. Just tell people it's normal, or tell people that we're coming up with a fix down the road, but their car is operable and working fine for now. And that engineering is trying to come up with something. And look, dealerships are financially incentivized. They're not going to want to do repair work on an issue that they're not going to get reimbursed for by the manufacturer if they submit a warranty claim. Other times, there's common problems with the vehicle, and it's of such a magnitude that if repairs were always being done, manufacturers would be flooded with lemon law claims. And so even though the lemon law typically applies to the manufacturer, not the repairing dealer, the dealer does warranty repairs on behalf of the manufacturer, but they are not the manufacturer. It's sometimes confusing for people because they got the manufacturer logo everywhere. But dealerships, other than Tesla, are independent entities. And so the dealer, in some instances, they're doing things on behalf of the manufacturer, especially if it's a foreign vehicle company like Audi or Volkswagen or Mercedes, or one of the Japanese brands like Honda or Toyota, or one of the South Korean brands like Kia or Hyundai. The manufacturer is not physically here, although they might have some factories out here. But regardless, they're not out here. The dealership is doing repairs on their behalf, and then under warranty, and then the manufacturer reimburses them for the warranty repairs. So the dealerships, they're financially disincentivized from doing repairs that they can't be paid for. And oftentimes it's not because it's not a defect or condition that should be covered. It's just the manufacturer, for whatever reason, has decided not to cover it. But the dealerships, it's a business. They want to get paid for their work. In other situations, even though the dealership is not the manufacturer, they do have a business relationship with the manufacturer. And so they try and protect them as much as they can.
I feel that. Yeah, you got to make money, but at the same time, if there's a problem with your car and they're telling you it's normal and it's not normal, like that's a problem. So like how often do consumers come to you because they've experienced this? And like, what's the typical, like, how does that play out in these cases?
I'd say luckily it's not that often. maybe, if I had to make a very, very rough guess that I should not be held to because it's a guess, maybe about 10%. And oftentimes it's not for every issue, it's just for maybe one or two. For the most part, companies are decent. I won't say great, but are decent about trying to repair vehicles. They know they can get into hot water if too many people complain to the state AG's office or to federal agencies like the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, or other consumer protection agencies. It's a balance. They're not necessarily. Some manufacturers do want to do the right thing and take care of people. Others, it's more they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get bad press. They don't want to get in hot water with the government because, voters are complaining to their representatives. And so they understand that they can't go too far with ignoring known problems. On the other hand, there's situations where it's human nature. They're self-interested and they try and protect their bottom line. But I would say the vast majority of the time, they do actually try and do repairs. Ultimately, there's always outlier instances. But when that happens, there are things that can be done. So one of the things that we recommend to consumers or potential clients who are dealing with this kind of issue is to go to an independent repair shop, a third-party mechanic. By independent, it just means that it's not an authorized dealer of the manufacturer. Now, we always warn consumers, hey, this is only for diagnosis, not for repair. They can't get a repair because if you get a repair for your vehicle while it's under warranty at a non-warranty repair shop, that could actually void your warranty. So you can end up shooting yourself in the foot if you get a repair done. So we recommend diagnosis only. So, because that's not going to affect the warranty. So that means go on a test drive with a third-party mechanic, have them get under the hood and see if they can determine the source of the defect or condition, and whatever it is they think is causing the problem, to put it in writing. If it's not in writing, it doesn't help. And the reason why to have that done in writing is helpful is because you have a third party that doesn't have a dog in this fight. And sometimes they'll do it as goodwill for you for free. Sometimes there'll just be a small charge, like a diagnostic fee, maybe $20 to $100, depending on the repair shop. But if they put in writing like, hey, we think X, Y, and Z component is causing Z problem, that's way more helpful than you just saying that it's happening. And because under the law, if the manufacturer does not do a repair that is covered by warranty, that's actually an automatic lemon law violation. Because there's two main ways that state lemon laws are violated. One is with an unreasonable repair history. That means too many repairs, too much time in the repair shop. That's the most common types of lemon law claims. But the other less common lemon law claim is if the company refuses to do a repair under warranty that it's supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, lemon laws are warranty enforcement statutes. They are statutes that enforce the assurance of quality that's provided in a warranty, which is to repair or replace defects in materials and workmanship. And so the way the law enforces that, say like, hey, you have to do a repair or you're making a legal violation. B, at a certain point, enough is enough. So if you're not properly repairing, that could also be a violation, because then, what does it matter if you're saying that you'll repair something if you've repaired it 50 times and it's still not repaired? So that's the other reason why, these companies, they can't get away with it forever if it's actually a problem. So if you have a third-party repair shop confirm the problem, that's helpful. What could also be helpful is these days with smartphones, we all have HD video. So when something's happening, be safe, obviously, if you're driving. So preferably you have a passenger do it, but hit record on the phone and record the problem as it's happening. What could also be helpful is to actually take the service advisor or the repair person on a test drive with you so you could show them exactly what you're experiencing. It's a lot harder for them to be like, oh, this is normal, oh, this is fine, or oh, I don't hear anything, or I don't see anything. If you're actually on a test drive with them and be like, you see, there it is, it just happened. Did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you feel that? So that could help as well.
Yeah, that's probably a lot better than trying to like approximate the sound with, with sound effects or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it
yeah.
does this when I turn it, that doesn't help anybody. So I do want to go back to what you mentioned about how this is not just a discussion between you and the dealership and maybe the repair person. Like this is a legal thing. So from a legal standpoint, given these lemon laws, when does something go from being a normal vehicle issue to being like, no, this is a problem?
I would just say it's typically a matter of degree and a matter of cadence. So it's got to be serious enough where it can be observed by more than just you. And it's got to happen often enough where other people will also be able to observe it. And also where it's more substantial and a major irritant. Because that's the other, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the other time where something could be called normal is when you have an intermittent problem. Some defects and conditions don't happen all the time, and that can be super frustrating. They just happen now and again, but it's happening, on enough of a basis to frustrate you. It might happen only under certain conditions, like certain weather conditions, certain speeds, certain temperatures, certain times of day, even, and when certain components are turned on or not. Like, for example, we had one client where the problem was only happening when cruise control was not on at highway speeds. If cruise control was on, the problem wasn't happening. So it could even be that situation where the vehicle is operating with certain components on or off, then the problem's happening. But it doesn't always happen. So that's another complicating factor.
Yeah, that's just that's like you said, it's so frustrating to have something like that. And then something we talked about in some previous episodes, but I do want to get your take again with respect to this idea of legal requirements. I know we talked about the time and basically the hassle of having to take your car to the shop or having to pay for a loaner vehicle. Does that also, have a factor in the legality of these cases?
Well, yes and no. I think it can affect damages and it can help to prove substantial impairment. Because typically under state lemon laws, it's not just enough that you're experiencing defects and an unreasonable repair history. You have to have substantial impairment in use and value. So yeah, the more inconvenient it is, the more costly it is for you, and frankly, the more egregious the defect is as far as the physical manifestation of it, like the louder it is or the more it impacts your daily driving, then yeah, those are factors that could help you prove how you're damaged by what happened, and also can help prove the substantiality of the underlying defect or condition.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then just the final question I have is, let's say that I bought a car, I'm experiencing problems, and the dealership is not giving me the time of day. They're saying, "Oh, that's normal. Like, don't worry about it." But I think it is a problem. What steps can I take to get an accurate assessment of the vehicle's condition?
I would say kind of what we were talking about before. Go to an independent mechanic, diagnosis only, make sure it's in writing. Also, video record what's happening. And, this isn't possible in all states, but sometimes what can also happen, which is really underhanded, is the dealership verbally will say one thing, like, "Oh, yeah, we're hearing it, but, we don't have a repair yet," or "We don't know how to fix this." And so they're verbally saying that, and then in the repair paperwork, all they're saying is unable to duplicate or no problem found, or operating as designed, or normal per manufacturer specs. It's like, wait a second, you're not writing down what you told me verbally. So this is a state by state thing. Be sure to all I can tell you is Google the law in your state, but some states allow you to record conversations. Some states do not, so buyer beware. And again, please Google the law in your state. I'd even recommend conferring with a lemon law attorney before doing this. But if you're being told one thing verbally, and then another thing is being put in writing, if it is legally permitted in your state, I would recommend recording the conversation. If it's not legally permitted to record a conversation without consent, then I would just tell them up front and just say, "Look, hey, just so you know, I'm recording this conversation," and just record it. Sometimes people will still admit things, even if they know they're being recorded. It's just human nature when you're in conversation to just speak. And that could be another source of proof for you.
Yeah. And real quick, so what you said was if you're getting conflicting information, it's not the worst idea in the world to call someone like you to get some advice. So are there some other, like, how else would I know when to bring in a lawyer like you when I'm experiencing this kind of issue? Like, at what point in the process do I call you?
As we've talked about before, I think the rule of 3 is a good rule, 3 or 30. So if you've had a substantial problem that you've sought repair for at least 3 times, or if your vehicle's been in the repair shop at least 30 days, if you either in one repair or with all the repairs combined, I think at that point you should definitely be talking to an attorney.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb, the 3 or 30.
Yeah, whether the problem's confirmed or not, I mean, it's obviously helpful if it is. But yeah, once you hit 3 or 30, that's a good time to talk to an attorney.
Great. And well, again, Shalev, it's just been really informative to have this conversation. So thank you for that. Thanks for those of you joining us on the LemonAid Podcast with Lemon Law expert Shalev Amar. So if you're listening, please subscribe to our channel, leave us a review. And Shalev, I know you've got a number of websites and maybe a phone number. So how can people get in touch with you?
Well, first, the phone number. It's an 866 number. So 866-904-2627. And our legal team would be happy to evaluate your lemon law situation for you for free. And as far as websites, we are currently regional. We're in the Southwest and the West of the country with a couple outliers, like, for example, Nebraska. We also have Minnesota coming on board this year. And for Nebraska, Minnesota, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, Oregon, and Washington, it is those states and lemonlawadvocates.com. So, for example, Colorado, lemonlawadvocates.com, or Arizona, lemonlawadvocates.com. And in 2 other states, we just have slightly different URLs. In Nevada, it's nevadalemonlaw.info. In California, it's californialemonlawadvocate, singular.com. But yeah, in those states, take a look at our websites. You'll get lots of free information. And yeah, we're just here to help people and to raise awareness.
Awesome. Well, again, Shalev, it's just been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and comment below.